Welcome to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from Debruyn Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Hey, good morning, everyone. What a lovely day outside today. This is like the perfect summer day. There's a little breeze blowing. Okay, maybe more than just a little breeze blowing. So I'm looking at the trees, but it's beautiful. It's going to be the perfect temperature. It's sunshine. We've had our rain this week. What a lovely, lovely day. And I don't care if you don't do gardening outside, but get outside and enjoy God's beautiful creation today, because this is like the day you want to wrap up and have in the middle of the winter. This is what we need. So just, bask in the sunshine, maybe get out of the wind a little bit and enjoy, folks. Just enjoy. But hey, if you got a garden problem or whatever, talk about birds, give me a call, 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. Well, actually, it's 1450. There's not a 14 on the telephone dial, but 616-395-1450 is the number to call. And of course, I'm from Debruyn Seed, and we do a calendar every year. And what we do is we put pictures of your animals in our calendar. And if you want to be in the calendar, you need to email me your pictures of your animals. I need the animal's name and then your name. And I got some cute ones this week. Remington and Macy, I believe the name were. Just 2 this week. So I need more. So email them to me. DeBruynSeed@gmail.com. That's DEBRUYN S as in Sam, EED@gmail.com. Email me your pictures, or you can always bring them in. If I'm not in, maybe the guys can scan them in, and I will have them for the calendar. I love doing this. This is so much fun. But I need to have them by the end of September. So get your cute little pictures of your pets going, and we'll see if your animals are as cute as my cat right now. He just got shaved, so he is absolutely adorable, and he is strutting around the house like he is hot stuff. So Stanley's picture hopefully will make it this year. Otherwise, I have edited my pictures out of my pets. Just get more of your pets in. But I'd love to have them, so get them on in. And again, I'm still doing aid for Puerto Rico. I'm going to send some boxes again this week. So if you've got any unused medication that either your dog, your cat, horse, goat, whatever you had, didn't use up all the medication, I will be glad to send it down. Also take human medication as well as bandage material. It's going to be puppy and kitten season pretty quick, so I'll take S-Black and KMR, the milk, as well as bottles to feed them. And I send them all down to Island Dog and Save a Gato in Puerto Rico. And they do take care of a lot of the islands around there, too. So they get so excited when they get our boxes. They never know what they're going to get. So I'm thrilled to pieces. Somebody last week brought a whole bag of dog cat toys, and they all still have their squeaker in them, which I don't know. At my house, the squeakers never lasted much more than about a day. So I'm pretty impressed, and they all look brand new. They are so cute. They're all going to go down. Hopefully all those little dogs that are in cages will all get a toy. That's kind of my thought. All right, things to get done this week. If you've got your raspberries or blueberries, they probably might be done getting there, but The spotted wing Drosophila is out this year in force. That's looks like a little tiny fruit fly. It's yellow with great big red eyes. So if you look at them under a magnifying glass or whatever, they're kind of an interesting looking thing. You do have to get rid of those guys. They do lay their eggs on developing fruit. So any of the soft fruits. So, the raspberries and blueberries are two of their favorites. But and the little larvae grows inside the fruit, eating the inside of the fruit, so that when harvest time comes, you'll bite open the fruit and there will be a little larvae looking at you waving. You don't want that. So make sure those spotted wing Drosophilias don't get at your fruit. You can cover your fruit with like a row cover or cheesecloth so they don't get in. If make sure that pollination is done, and that should help. Although there are also sprays out there now too that will fight against the spotted wing Drosophila. So take a look at your soft fruit and make sure you don't have that. Again, tomatoes this week, they had a pretty good week with all that rain that one day, but make sure they get, 1 to 2 inches of deep watering every week, and make sure that, put your finger in the ground. If it's wet, don't water it, but if it's dry, please give them water. They seem to suck up water faster than anything else. I will water my tomatoes and the rest of the garden will be completely fine. So do keep an eye out on those tomatoes to make sure that they stay watered. We want as many little tomatoes to develop or big tomatoes to develop as possible. So get them watered. Also, pumpkins, they take an immense amount of water. So if you've got some pumpkin plants out there and they've got some fruit on it, make sure they get plenty of water also. You may want to, pick and choose which plants you want to water. There might be some that, just the fruit on it just really is not going to amount to anything. Pull that out. Let's, get rid of your losses right away and keep an eye on the rest of it. Keep them watered. Can't stress that enough. Things like green beans, I mean, they grow in the desert. So they're fine. They don't need near as much water as a lot of the other things do in the garden. My peppers, for some reason this year, they have set fruit like they will never, ever stop. I'm pretty sick of them right now. I've frozen enough of them. So I think I'm going to pull those out also. I just do hot peppers. I just can't really do sweet peppers that well. So, but I've got plenty of them. I don't need any more, but you might want to keep an eye out on those too. When you start to twist them and they twist off quick easily, they're ready to pick. If they don't want to come off, they're not ready to pick. So wait until they're completely ripe before you pick those peppers. Okay. Weeds again. Weeds in the garden. People send me pictures of their gardens all the time, and they're so full of weeds. People, please weed your garden. The weeds are where the insects like to hide out, and it's where the fungus kind of sits in there also. We need to get the weeds out. It takes nutrition from your plant. It just is much better. Once you get it weeded, put the preen down, water it in, and then you don't have to worry about a lot of those things coming up from seed anymore. Some of those things can be just downright hard to get rid of, but do try to get rid of it. And also around the garden. I mean, do around the garden too. Don't let it just be surrounded that you got to walk through a wall of weeds to get in your garden. You don't want to do that. So keep that watered or watered. Keep that weeded or mowed down short so you can walk through it to get to the garden so the insects are not hiding in there. We have got, since we didn't have much of a winter last year, most of the insects survived over the winter. Whereas, maybe 9 out of 10 box elder bugs might have died. Now we only had maybe 2 die out of 10. So that's why having having one of those warmer winters really does not help us in the least. Outside of, I really like it warmer, but hey, that's life, just personal. But yeah, sometimes it's best to have that freezing temperature. Um, I know a lot of people are complaining about potato blight right now. Get those plants out of there. Don't put them in your compost pile. Get rid of them if they've got blight on it. That's how the Irish potato famine started. Um, so and get the whole plant out of there. Get the potatoes out of there also. Just really don't want to spread that any more than you absolutely have to. And whatever you do, don't save any of those to plant next year. Um, the certified seed potatoes, those fields are inspected 4 or 5 times during the growing season. They're inspected right before they get harvested to make sure that there is no fungal problems in the seed. Um, so that's what we want to make sure. Don't plant anything that's had a disease on it. Um, it is just, my goodness, it's I don't can't say that enough. You could, if you want to save seed, that's fine. You've got to take the best of your plants, the best looking things, the ones that don't have any kind of fungal problem, insect problem, nothing. They have to be the perfect ones. And remember, if you've got an old fashioned variety, sometimes the seed don't come out the same as what you had the year before. Um, that's it. Just reverts back to its norm, what it came from originally, especially if the conditions during the summer were very stressful. So if any of your plants are under any sort of stress, don't save the seeds from them. It's not going to work. It's not going to be the same thing that you had this year. Just saying. And again, on your squash and cucumbers and melons, those things are pollinated by the same bees. They're a native ground bee that pollinate those things, and they go from cucumber to squash to pumpkin to squash to cucumber. They don't care. The squash or whatever that you eat this year is fine. It's true to type. Those seeds inside are not. So don't save the seeds from those unless you can. All you planted was cucumbers and there's nothing around you. No one else has cucumbers. So let's just, keep that in mind that saving seeds sometimes is a hard thing to do to get it true to type. And make sure that after you're done with your garden at the end of the year, you pull out all the zucchini and squash and whatever pickles that fell to the ground, because next summer those seeds will start growing. They'll be volunteer plants, but they're not going to be true to type. And then this is the time of year everyone calls up and goes, but these don't look good. So that's what they are. We need to stop and take a break, but we will be back with the garden show right after this.
I'm Steve Kaith in CBS News. Join me for the CBS World News Roundup, weekday mornings at 8 on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.
Into some really jazzy music. I like that. Get you a little energized here for the day. Phone lines are open. 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. Down at Debruyn's, I can tell you the hot topic of the week. There are two, actually, hot topics of the week. First hot topic of the week is my lawn looks like it's got the measles. And it is called dollar spot, folks, because your lawn gets these little patches, size of a silver dollar or a little bit bigger. It's dollar dollar spot. It is a fungal disease, and this is one that probably won't go away. And if you don't do something about it, you'll see those patches next year and the year after, and they'll just get bigger and bigger. So, what you need to do is you need to put a fungicide down on it. And the guys down at Debruyn's, they realize that you don't have to do the whole yard. If it's like just in your side yard or your backyard, just do that. Make sure you clean the lawnmower off when you go from lawn to side, but just, cover the areas with fungicide that you have a problem with. Unless you think that the other ones are going to start up, I would just do the spots that you need to put it on. We have a small bag that will do small areas, and that's all we've had before in the past until this year. And the guy's got a bag. It's called Prophecy. It's a fantastic fungicide for your lawn, and it will cover up to 10,000 square feet. So, if you've got a really involved lawn or you think it's going to spread, and, if the weather would have stayed hot and humid, I think it's a good reason for it to spread because that's when it does spread. But, if the weather does get that way again, and it can, it's August, you might want to do the whole yard. But we do have a bag that will cover up to 10,000 square feet. So we've got that now. And I believe that runs right around $50. You got to put that on. And then you also need to put down, if you haven't recently, a turf builder type fertilizer because it's going to need the nitrogen to help start growing out again. So again, if you've got the dollar spot, if it looks like your lawn has the measles where you've got spots all over, dollar spot, that requires a fungicide and some nitrogen on your lawn. And we've got both. The guys will be more than happy to help you, get you set up for what you need, how big of a bag you need. Hate to oversell it, so don't do what you don't need. But the guys will be glad to help you with your speckled lawn. That's the one thing. And I'll tell you, people, one right after another will come in with dollar spot. It's not just one, it's multiples. I counted 6 in a row one day of people that had dollar spot. That's just when I was kind of paying attention to what they were saying down there. And it was dollar spot, dollar spot, dollar spot. I thought, my goodness, it's the only thing here. But there is another problem that is creeping up, and that is crabgrass. Lots of people have crabgrass now. All of these problems love the hot, humid weather that we just had. And the grasses and the fungal problems will just multiply during that hot, humid weather. So now we've got a little brief intermission here, I think, of some cooler weather. And so now we can take care of those problems. Crabgrass, we want to get it before it sets seed. Once it gets a big rosette and it's got all the seeds on the end, you might as well forget it. It's already probably shed some seeds, and it's hard. You can't mow it off because when the mower goes over it, it just kind of flattens out all on its own. It's not like grass that normally just sticks straight up. So that doesn't help. So you really have to walk around and kill the crabgrass in your lawn. I use I get it right alongside the road or maybe by the end of the driveway. And I walk around with a gallon of crabgrass destroyer, and I just sit there and I just start hitting all of those weeds. Crabgrass destroyer really works. It really works on the small little crabgrass plants and the large crabgrass plants. So don't think that you have to catch it when it's young. That's what it used to be. The crabgrass destroyer will actually kill it when it's a lot larger too. So, and it works by taking the chlorophyll out or disabling the chlorophyll somehow in the plant, and the plant will turn white and die. Very dramatic. So you can tell where the weeds were in your lawn because they turn white. Lawn doesn't turn white, doesn't hurt that, but it really does the job on that stuff. I really like that stuff. We were part of getting Scott's to continue making it because they had discontinued it this year. They didn't get that much call for it, and they like to. I don't know. Maybe they base all their decisions on southern areas. Well, you can't use it on Bermuda grass or any of the southern grasses. So, what good is it down south? But it works well up here in the northern areas. So, crabgrass destroyer, um, and it's in a 1.1 gallon container. It's already pre-mixed, and it's got a battery powered little wand on it. So all you have to do is just press the button and it sprays, and it's wonderful stuff. Love that stuff. I wouldn't spray it today. It's a little windy out there today, and we have to remember that all the stuff nowadays is so micro encapsulated and very, very small, fine mist that just carries on the wind. And, you don't want to get it on your neighbor's roses. So be very careful. What you're going to spray on a calm morning or a calm evening without any wind, and it will do a good job for you. I've been thoroughly impressed with it. And it doesn't just do crabgrass, it does all the little weeds that you have in your lawn. And it also works. This is an off label thing, so you didn't hear it here, but you can't use it on Bermuda grass. It says so on the label, but because it kills the Bermuda grass. Ha! Fantastic. You spray it on your Bermuda grass, it will kill your Bermuda grass. It will turn it white and die. So that's like the perfect, thing to do. The stuff that we have to kill Bermuda grass, you have to spray it every 2 weeks for the entire summer, to maybe get it to die. This stuff really does work. So crabgrass destroyer is something that you really need to have just on hand in your garage. I'm always kind of shocked when I start walking around my lawn. It looks fine from a distance, but then when you get up close to it, it looks pretty bad. So there's a lot of weeds in there. They're green, you don't notice them. So, it's easy to walk around with your little container and spray the lawn. So that works extremely well. Now, yeah, those are the two lawn problems that people are coming in with. I haven't heard anything else in an age. It's just crabgrass or dollar spot, one or the other. Ken's got the stuff on sale right now, so come on in. You can bring a picture of your lawn or bring something in or whatever. Show us the weed you've got. We are very happy to identify your weeds, and we also get the right herbicide for your particular weed. Not all weeds are created equal. You can't use one product, unfortunately, for everything. So we will make sure that you get the correct product for what you need to use. If you bring in some nutgrass, I'm not going to give you crabgrass destroyer. I'm going to get you something that actually does nutgrass. So, it's just we fine tune it. The guys at Debruyn's are very good at identifying weeds. If they can't, I can help them out with that too, and we will get it identified. And once it's identified, it's pretty easy to fit the herbicide to the problem that you've got. And there's always such a thing as digging things up by yourself. That's best done when it isn't going to seed, when it's young. So be careful with that. Once it's going to seed, you can chop off the seed heads, make sure you destroy those, and then you're fine. The annual bluegrass right now is dying out because it did not like the hot weather there. And so that will look kind of bad in your lawn. You'll get those circular areas where you can pull the grass out. That's probably annual bluegrass. You can throw more grass seed in those areas right now. That's probably the thing to do, and rake out the other stuff. So, there's all these wonderful things that are out there right now, but we'll be glad to help you. It's hard to talk about everything out there right now, but we'll be glad to help you with what you've got, what you need to get, identifying weeds, identified flowers already too for people, and trees. So we can do that at Debruyn's and get you what you need to get. And then animal repellents right now. Oh my goodness, deer. They seem to be eating everything in your backyard. We've got an assortment of animal repellents, and we'll talk about that after the news. We'll be back with the garden show then.
When you need to know, on the air and online, we're here for you. 99.7 and 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
Like that music. That really makes you want to be up and alive. What great music. Okay. Well, going to bring everyone down now. Bad subject to talk about. Well, not really, but hey, the phone lines are open. 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. Rabies has been found in Ottawa County. I remember growing up, Michigan was a rabies-free state, and we didn't have to have all this stuff. But now it is not. Rabies is found. Found it in a bat. So if they found it in a bat, there could be other ones too. So make sure, number one, make sure your dog or cat is up to date on their rabies vaccinations. Really, really important. Rabies is fatal, period. Nothing you can do about it. Fatal. If you catch it in time, you can go through the series of vaccinations and hopefully you can get out of it. But make sure your dog and cat are up to date with their rabies vaccinations. Very, very, very important. If you get a bat in your house, your dog or cat is not going to be able to tell you it got bit. And honestly, I've seen animals that have been bitten by a bat and really not had any kind of reaction at all. So it's not going to be something that, oh my goodness, it swells up to 10 times its size and you're going to notice it right away. Doesn't happen like that. And they're not going to tell you. So make sure you get rid of the bat. And by getting rid of the bat, I mean kill the bat. And then take it into the health department, Ottawa County Health Department on James Street there. They will check out the brain for the negri bodies, which says that animal has rabies. And they'll let you know. And of course, they have to make a countywide, let everybody else know too that another bat has been found. But honestly, if you get a bat in your house, you need to catch it, kill it, and bring it over to the health department for them to inspect and make sure your animals are up to date. Make sure you don't get bit. I have a neighbor that I used to have a neighbor that was excellent at killing them. He'd bring a tennis racket in the house and he'd get rid of that thing so easily. It was almost a thing of beauty to watch. But yeah, or you can always make sure that you just don't get any bats in your house. Make sure you bat proof it because they will hibernate in your attics, et cetera. And you really don't want them hibernating up there, especially if they might have rabies. So let's get that identified. Get the bats out of the house. Watch at twilight if they see. You can see where they come out of the house, and get that all taken care of before they come in the next morning again. They can find somewhere else to roost, but they're not going to be in your house. So there. So just make sure that you don't have any bats around. If you do see a raccoon or a squirrel acting completely abnormal, Sometimes they want to come out and be with humans when they have rabies. Um, that is a great way to get rabies. They bite you. That's that's horrible. Um, so, you know, stay far away. You might want to call the health department. Hey, I think I might have seen a rabid raccoon or whatever. And it's not like they're not foaming at the mouth or anything like that, but they're just acting differently than a raccoon would, which should be afraid of you and run away if they want to come near you and interact and are doing sometimes weird things. Do contact them. Also, skunks also get rabies, um, but the raccoons, they can also get parvo, just like a dog does. Um, I don't really know that it's going around right now, but when it does go around, you can see wild animals out there that have parvo also. We really need to get rid of those animals. Again, we put them in a bag, make sure you're gloved, etc., and get rid of them. We don't want that sitting around. That's just not a good thing. So, take care of stuff like that. I get I saw a lot more of that down in Florida than I ever see up here, but you do have to be aware of your surroundings and don't let kids, oh, it looks like it's a friendly squirrel or it looks like it's a really friendly raccoon. Don't let the kids near them. Do be err on the side of caution, please. Err on the side of caution for you and your kids' safety. Another thing that's out to kill you right now are the mosquitoes. Some areas are horrible. The wet weather really brought them out. And if you're in one of those areas that has mosquitoes, and in the evening, you just can't sit around outside and enjoy the evening air because there's so many mosquitoes. Well, today that's too windy, so you could probably enjoy it today. But make sure mosquitoes carry West Nile, they carry Jamestown Canyon virus, they carry um, oh, what Eastern equine encephalitis and other diseases, Zika for one. We don't usually have those mosquitoes up here, those type of mosquitoes, but I know in Eastern Michigan they did have a Zika outbreak a couple of years ago because the mosquitoes traveled that far north and got them. But they're over there on the banana belt. We don't have that. We're a little cooler over here. So we haven't had them yet. I'm just going to say yet on there. But we don't want mosquitoes. If we want to have, eat outdoors, if you want to have people over and you want to be outdoors, you're probably going to have to spray the backyard. There's lots of sprays out there. We can help you with that. Make sure you spray the bushes, the lawn, anything, anywhere they might be. And most of the sprays will also get ticks too. So hey, it's a double whammy. That's great. But make sure you do get and the grasses that surround your house. If you butt up against a woods or a fence that's got some weeds on it, make sure you spray those also. It's so very important to make sure that you get that and get rid of any standing water on your property. And we need to stop and take a break, and we will be back with a garden show after this happy music plays.
Join me for West Michigan Farm News every weekday on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.
All right, I feel like I should do some doom and gloom thing right now after that music. I was going to talk about pollinators out there, folks, and it's not just honeybees. I'm talking more native pollinators, which means butterflies, the native bees, those sorts of things. Be mindful that they're out there and be very careful. And we have a caller on the line. Good morning. You're on the Garden Show.
Yes, I was wondering, could you tell me what I could put? I'm getting a lot of I don't know, powdery stuff on the leaves to my plants?
Yep. You have powdery mildew, which is a disease, and it came because it was so humid last week. That hot, humid weather really brought that out. So it's everywhere. So it's not just you. You're going to have to spray
Oh,
your plants with a fungicide now that you've got it.
fungicide.
Yeah, fungicide's going to be best.
Well, are they going to be okay, though?
Well, unfortunately,
Because,
that powdery mildew, what it does is it gets on the plant leaves, and then the chlorophyll can't work because it can't get the sunlight, and it will kill the leaves off. And once it kills too many leaves off, it will kill the plant
oh, no.
because it can kill.
Yeah,
So,
because it's quite a bit.
yeah, so
Oh,
fungicides are
wow.
best if you want to prevent it from spreading. You can also do the milk and water, just whole milk and water, mix it 1-to-1 and spray it on your plants. But that's more of a preventative. It's not going to help you get rid of it. The fungicides will help you get rid of it.
Fungicide. Okay, then I will have to go get some of that stuff. Is there a certain brand or name or anything?
Well, it depends on whether it's on your vegetables or on your flowers. There's different
Flowers.
flowers. I would do the Bio Advanced, and they have a flower spray that has a fungicide in it, and it works extremely well. And it also gets rid of insects. So hey, you got a 2-in-1 there.
Okay, so it's what did you say? Bio something?
Bio Advance.
Advance.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, good luck. We don't want to ruin our flowers.
No, they were so pretty, but some are okay, but some aren't. They look the leaves are all dead. And
Yeah,
stuff, so.
yeah. I'll tell you, it spreads
All
quickly
right.
in the hot weather. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. It's one good thing about today's weather. It's a lot cooler and it's a lot nicer. Although everybody came into Debruyn's yesterday and they all thought it was fall. No, it is not fall out there yet. August sometimes can be the hottest days of the year. So we've still got summer left. It's not fall yet. So don't be preparing for fall yet. We're a little bit no, we're not near there. You can put some stuff in your garden for fall planting, like you can put your peas in right now, maybe plant some lettuce or spinach now to harvest in September when it's a little cooler. That you can definitely do right now. Get your turnips in and your rutabagas in, your root crops. They need to go in now too. But we were talking about being mindful about the pollinators. We have to remember we love the butterflies, but we have to remember they all come from some sort of worm. There's always a worm somewhere or caterpillar in its background. And even the tomato hornworm, it's got the sphinx moth, which is where it comes from. That one isn't all that pretty. There's a lot prettier ones, but my parsley, my carrots, my dill, they can all get covered with the most beautiful, beautiful caterpillars everywhere. And they're good ones. So I always plant extra of those things so the caterpillars can have them. You do want some butterflies out there to pollinate, and they're all native. So let's make sure we keep those plants that some of the caterpillars are on. You might want to identify the caterpillar. I don't want the tomato hornworm caterpillar. I don't want to keep that chewing on my plants, but a lot of the other ones I do, like the swallowtail on my parsley and my chives, and the monarchs on our milkweed. But there are other ones out there, so keep them in mind when we're trying to get rid of worms, etc., on your plants. That some of them are good worms, so we want to keep those. And we got the cool tip last week. If you want to see if there's tomato hornworms on your plants, get out your black lights. And a lot of people have them. They identify, stains on the carpet, etc. Put them out there on your tomato plants. Wow, I found one with that. They glow. It is so cool. So, yeah, get the black light, little flashlight. I've got one. You can get them at the drugstore. You can get them at Meijer. But they do work extremely well. So, grab those black lights and get on out there. But be mindful of the caterpillars that are out there. And not all insects are bad, so we don't have to just blankly just spray everything. Do be careful with what you're spraying and what you're spraying on. If you want to take care of your lawn for something, spray it for ants or whatever. Make sure you mow it first so that any clover or whatever thing might be flowering is no longer flowering, so the bees won't go there. It's mainly the clover that I'm worried about. Make sure you get it short enough that the clover gets knocked off. Then you can put whatever you want down there and water it in. Once it's watered in, it's fine, but we don't have the bees dying because they're walking on clover that you just sprayed. So that's number one. Number two, always make sure that you spray, and just like your herbicides, on a calm day. No wind blowing, because that blows it everywhere. And spray the green parts, the leaves, where the insects are. Don't spray the flowers, because that's where the insects are going to land. So be careful. Take your time when you're spraying for insects. I mean, don't just stand out there with a hose and just cover everything. Do plant by plant. Be very careful. It's going to take a little more time, but be careful so you can save some of your bees. That's my preaching for the day. And we can say amen. And we will remind people that I will be back Tuesday morning at 8:45 with Dan with the garden party. And I will be on Talk of the Town on Tuesday mornings from 10 until 11 with Gary for the garden hour. And we talk about just about everything during then and take some calls. But the most important part, of course, is I will be back here next Saturday at 11:05 or whenever the news is over with the garden show. And I got all of the names correct this week. I'm very proud of myself. But I will be back here next Saturday. I think that's the 17th. And we will be have the show then. But, until then, I have to remind everybody that we have to go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from Debruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.